Good day.
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great. What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original. But it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's.
But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash. So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
Well, what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
All right, I'll sell them to you.
Splendid. Revenant bones. They'll be very useful indeed. Take care.
Quiet as the grave here. Each other in the streets.
Hey, what the? Clear off before I call. Something around here?
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well,
Well,
pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight. The stern knight was enraged and challenged his rival to a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched. And so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them?
Goodbye. problems with stomach ulcers?
God be with you, good sir.
Have you got a bed for them?
Aye, there's room here. For how long?
Just the one night?
Sure, but let's...
Here you go.
You'll like it here. God be with you.
Yeah. I feel quite hungry. Yeah.
Good day to you. May the Lord watch over you.
Get him! Look what I've got for you. You'll love this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a little time to spare?
What is it?
I'd like to challenge you to a duel, sir. A little amicable combat.
Why not? I could use a little exercise.
Excellent. I see you have no fear. Let's get to it, then. Lost your wind? No curva! Missed. What's the matter? Come on. Insolent whelp! Damn! I'm going to. Come on then. Here! Shit! You're going to cry now. You've won honorably, sir.
Yeah.
Greeting.
I've got some goods here.
All right. They'll be with you.
I'd like to discuss the price.
Aye. For that amount, I can be persuaded. Goodbye.
You could at least have a bit of a walk.
Wouldn't you like to take a stroll somewhere?
I'd love to. Henry, I don't want to complicate things, but how do you think it will be between the two of us? After all that's happened to us both, you're all I have left in my life. But you've got a lot of work for Sir Radzig and I'm afraid you'll have to leave me too.
Have no fear. I'll never leave you. Wherever my duties might take me, we'll still be together. After all, you're all that's left to me too. And even though everything might change...
Henry, will you promise me something?
Anything.
Promise me you'll take care of yourself. Even if you were to go away for a long time and meet other girls. If I were to lose you too, I don't know what I'd do.
Ah, Teresa.
Just promise me.
I promise.
Thank you. I know it's a hard thing to promise, but... You know, well, we ought to be heading back. I still have work to do. Besides, you don't want to see me crying like a baby here.
Definitely not. You'd start me off too.
Right then, let's go. I must go, Henry. Take care.
Yeah! Yeah!
God bless you. What troubles you?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help.
Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet.
But I'm only interested in one.
The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect.
See you later.
Yeah. Are you ready, Sir Hans?
Henry, something's gone wrong.
Open up. I'm not going to talk to the door.
That potion tasted rather odd, and now I have a feeling my face is broken out. How do I look?
No offence, sir, but you gave me quite a fright. It looks as though you've slept with your head inside a wasp's nest.
God's holy breeches, I knew it! And it's nearly time for my rendezvous with Carolina. What am I going to do?
Surely you're not going to give up on account of a few pimples. If Carolina doesn't appreciate your charm, she's not worth the effort.
Do you think she will? Even though I've got a face like an arse?
You'll sweep her off her feet. You'll see.
All right, Henry. I'll do it. Let's go. Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day, plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight.
I'm honored that you should come.
I think I have something that...
What do you
What are
mean?
you up to? I'll be late for my wooing.
That's it?
By all, you don't even know how much. And if you know my wife, then
Will you
you'll
stop
know.
dawdling? I don't want to miss the girl of my dreams.
I probably
because of
shouldn't...
you.
He wanted it.
What? I mean, Here. See you later.
What the hell are you up? Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day, plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight. There's another very pretty girl living in this house here, but she's already got a suitor.
Since when has that ever bothered you?
Since the time her fellow threw me headfirst into a dung heap and kicked my arse for good measure.
Your future subjects don't hesitate to take a stick to you when it comes to minding the women folk.
I doubt he would have done it if he recognized me. I was, incognito.
We're almost there. You'll hide behind a gravestone or in the bushes and don't budge from there. Otherwise you might scare her off. Hide, Henry. Time to get started.
How do you know it's her who will come out and not someone else?
She got the letter and necklace, didn't she? She knows that that is, her secret admirer is coming.
And what am I supposed to do?
What do you think, dolt? Prompt me from that book of poetry.
Dear people, don't leave a poor woman to starve. Sigismund took everything I had. Goodness, please, have some compassion.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Your most ardent admirer, fair maid.
Uh-huh. And do you have a name?
What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would still be a flower, wouldn't it? Start. How?
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
To love and be forlorn is like night without a dawn. To be close with naught to say, like winter frost in May.
To love and be forlorn is like night without a dawn. To be close is not the same, like intercourse in May.
No! And now my heart in sorrow dwells, from melancholic pining swells, since I, alas, was forced to part from the mistress of my heart.
I know my horses sort of well. Some alcohol from 9 to 12. Seems I always have whores apart from the mistress of my heart.
Psst. What on earth are you saying?
What's that hissing?
It's, a feral goose here in the bushes.
I shall love you then, my dear, as long as you lie with me here. If you'll not give your all to me, no longer shall I bide with thee.
I shall let you drink my beer, as long as you, buy one for me. If you'll not give your ale to me, no longer shall I buy for thee.
Jesus, Henry! What kind of yokel nonsense are you babbling?
Me? You're the one who's babbling.
You're an odd one. I've never heard such peculiar poetry in my life. Where on earth did you come up with it?
It's the latest fashion in France.
You've done enough harm. Better shut up and leave it to me.
How did you like it, dearest?
Well, it was, Father is coming! Hide!
Who is that talking? If it's some dandy again, I'll gut him with my filleting knife.
I didn't hear anyone.
Did you hear what he said?
But I have a bad feeling about this, Hans. I think we should...
Are you still there?
Still here, my love. How could I have apart from you?
Father's coming! He'll kill you!
He will not. Because it'll never cross his mind where I'll be. Henry, it's time for me to claim my prize. Whatever happens, cover my back.
There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
Buy me time.
You got some explaining to do, you bastard!
What are you after, you bastard, sneaking around an honest citizen's house in the dark?
I went to mourn over the grave of my great-grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Then what are you doing right beneath my window, eh?
No, the question is, why are you trampling on Great Granny's grave, eh?
Enough of your horse shit. One more word, and I'll have you.
Ah! What are you doing here?
Oh, my darling.
Get out! Get out or I'll call Papa!
My sweet. How can you be so cruel?
Hey, what was that?
What was what?
That noise. I'm sure I heard a strange noise.
We're here in the cemetery. Maybe restless spirits, what do you reckon?
I'd swear it came from the window of my own house.
What's that got to do with me?
Someone's been creeping around after my daughter. I come out and I find you here. Quite a coincidence, eh? So, out with the truth.
You're quite mistaken. I've never laid eyes on your daughter, and if she looks anything like you, I'd rather keep it that way.
Why, you fucking...
What do you think you're doing? Climbing in here, uninvited?
Ma chérie, I came to court you.
Then go and court me from the courtyard.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Are you all right? It seems to me you're hearing things other folk can't hear. That's not good.
You're saying I'm hearing voices in my head?
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. St. Euphrosyne of Polotsk heard voices too, and she founded a monastery and churches and things.
I heard voices too. Well, could have been voices. I wouldn't swear to it, though.
Look, fellas, I was standing right here, and I didn't hear a thing. Do you take me for a madman?
Whatever you are, I want to know what you're doing under my daughter's window and who was talking to her. I heard it clear as day.
Good neighbour, it can't be denied that old age dulls a man's ears. I'm here alone, praying for the souls of the good people resting in the cemetery. I've nothing to do with your daughter.
That voice sounded different to yours, though. But where did he get to? You must have seen him. Unless you're covering for him.
What? You don't love me?
No, and I told you, get out!
Well, how about a kiss at least?
Out, out, out!
Oh, Christ almighty. It's haunted here. I knew I should never have come near this cemetery at night.
The only one doing any haunting here is you. And I've done wasting time with you. I'll beat you to a pulp, and then that other bastard. You'll get the hiding of your life.
Not the best you can do. Now you're fucked. You're dead.
Russian, whatever is fair.
Rtka.
Show what you make.
That's not the best you can do.
God bless you. What troubles you?
How did it go with Carolina, Sans?
It was a disaster, Henry. A disaster.
How come? Didn't your recitation do the trick?
What kind of nonsense were you feeding me? Carolina thought I was a thief breaking in to rob the place. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. She told me to get out, or she'd call her father.
Oh, you're lucky I managed to keep him busy. Only now he thinks I'm the village idiot.
Well, thanks for that, at least. Anyway, Carolina slammed the door in my face, so I suppose I'll have to look elsewhere for the love of my life.
Well, back to writing love letters.
To hell with love letters. Imagine. That silly goose couldn't even read.
Ah, shame. She missed out on something very rare.
Indeed. Here's the letter, Henry. Read it. At least you're capable of appreciating my literary talent. Read and learn from a poet. Goodbye.
What the?